Welcome to Violin Adventures number 253. Now this week we decided to do something completely different. We explore the inside workings of a reed organ or pump organ or even a harmonium. I hope you'll enjoy exploring with me. This is like a new adventure. All right, remember this piece from last week? Well, this piece goes on top of this piece. So what I'm going to do right now is polish this up with a special mixture, and I'm also going to work on cleaning these keys and getting it ready for Mr. Ian Dyson to work on the insides. Okay, I've got a special mixture here and we're going to work on cleaning this up and polishing it. It's kind of dry. The wood needs nourishing, so it's what I'm going to do now. I don't know if you could see any difference there, but there's a lot. It's much richer and cleaner. So here's the before. The wood is quite dry. Now I'll polish it and then I'll show you again. Okay, here it is all polished. Just this top section. Look how much more richer and cleaner it looks. So now I'm going to go to the next section here. You can see how that's a lot duller. We're going to polish this section now. Okay, there it is, all polished. Okay, next I'm going to work on this side and the other side. Well, there it is after it's been polished and cleaned. Looks so much nicer. Okay, here's the next side. Looking quite beautiful. Okay, I just finished polishing the underneath side. And now we come to the keys, the most important part. And you can see how dirty they are. So I'm going to work on that next. Okay, the keys are clean now. Okay, this is my first time having fun in the back of a pump organ, right? So, what I'm going to do, this is under the direction of Ian. We're going to take a peek in here and see if we can pull out a reed. Let's look in here. We're lifting this flap, and there's little tiny black reeds there, and this is too big, so I'm going to get something smaller. Alright, let's try this again. Open this up. There's a board. Oh, I see. We can lift this board. Yes. Let's see if we can get a reed out. Yes. Oh, we did it. We got a reed out. Okay, that's the first time I've ever done something like that. I got a reed out, and it's so black on the top that I thought for sure it was a piece of ebony. But no, it's a nice reed. So now we have to ask Ian what to do next. Okay, now the next thing we have to do is make a reed puller. And you saw how I pulled that out with a little screw. I'm going to see if I have any nails that are about this size. And then we're going to find a handle and we're going to make a reed puller. Okay, I've got me some nails here, which will have more of a lip to grab with. So now I'm going to try them out. Okay, I've opened up this lever on the top here, and then there's another lever under here. I lifted that. I'm holding it open with a block. And you guys, we can climb in here and get a better look at these reeds. Now I am starting with my smaller nail here. I'm gonna climb in here. Oops. Okay, so I'm using this one. And it does all right, but there's a lot of give. If I go with this bigger one, I think it's easier to get in there with a smaller head. It pushes it out pretty nicely. So I'm going to start with this one, but I'll keep the other one in hand. We got to find a handle. So we're going to look in this drawer. And I've got different tools, or different handles for tools. But here, this is a smaller one. Let's try using this one. Okay, there's our reed puller. We'll see how it works. Okay, we're working on taking apart as much as we can this pump organ. And I'm doing it under the direction of Ian Dyson, my fiance. This is the first time. So let's do it together. Okay, and this is on this stop. Okay, this piece is connected to that stop. I'm going to read it. Now I'm going to see about getting all the reeds out, and we want that to go up. So how does this work? This is attached to, betcha that's... All right, we're going to take the reeds out, and I've got my board here to put them on. I'll set this over here. And here we go. We've got the names on the reed. So this is B. Okay, we've got them secured here. I'm going to go put them in a drawer. And this is the lower diapason, right? We've got our cabinet here. We're going to go to the second drawer, put our diapason notes in here, and there we can keep it safe. In the lower drawer we have our Vox Humana. Okay, this is so fun to see how it works in here and to find out what levers do what things. So I'm going to show you where we're at. Okay, in there you can see I've got all the reeds out. Now we've got to go to this section over here, which is, I think it's the melodia. We pull that up and that lifts the white board. So now we can easily take out the rest of these reeds. getting tinier and dirtier. These have gotten a lot smaller, but we'll attach them to our board next. Okay, we've got this is the Melodia, and we have got one more board to get the rest of those reeds on. There they are, all the reeds for that one section. I had to take I don't think this has ever been taken off since it was made, because the varnish was still over the top of the screws, and they're not rusty like all the others are. But it needs to be cleaned up a bit. So here these two pieces are. And this is just dirt that got under there, I think. So I'm going to clean that up, and we'll keep working to take this apart. Okay, before we dismantle all this, I just want to look at how beautiful this is. This looks gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to lift this lid, and then I've unscrewed this piece right here, and I'm taking it out. It just lifts right out. It's got 2 screws on both sides. I'm going to tape those screws in and lay this aside. But isn't that nice? When you look on the other side, it's got the red in there. Anyway, in here, if I lift this, I can see a whole nother row of reeds on this side. Well, I see right here a signature and a date, maybe. Okay, now I'm detaching the door, the front cover over the keys, that beautiful cover, getting the idea that we can have more light here if this door is off, the door up here. So there was just a little lever. I loosened it and pulled this out on this side. Here you can see the little lever. It was like this. I loosened it. I'm turning it like this, and I'm gonna pop it out. Okay. Then we can take out this beautiful door. Okay, it's the next day, and what I've got to do is get the reeds out, a whole row of reeds in the front, but it's been bothering me because I've wanted to get the whole unit out and surprise Ian. But of course, I don't really know what I'm doing. But I've been studying this thing this morning, and I got underneath, and I found a whole row of nails that is holding this whole unit down to the bellows unit. And I wanted to separate the top unit from the bellows unit. Okay, so over in the front, I found a row of screws. I found a row of screws that I hadn't taken out. So next, it's free and I'm going to try to get that moved over to the table. But just don't tell Ian, it's going to be a big surprise. The problem is we have this board here. This is the, this connects to the cover, and I haven't figured out how to take it off because this unit is in the way. So I'm going to try to lift it over that. Let's see how it goes. Things that overhang in the front, so it's hard to pull it back. And then if I pull it out the front, there's pins in the way. And there's also the bottom board. So let's go look at the front, see if we should pull it through the front. Okay, so when I lift up, we have these pins, which I'm hoping I could take those out. We've also got this board here. We've got these bars that hang down. So we've got little things that I can hang up on. Now the problem with taking the front off here is it's screwed on the back side here, and I can't get my hand behind there. So I'm going to try to work around this, but let's see about taking those pins out. Okay, not being able to get the pins out the front, and also that board that runs across, there's just not enough leeway. So I took this off. It was just held there with one nail. So I took this off, and now we're going to see if we can get it onto the table. To put this on something so it won't be sitting on the levers. Ooh. Look at that, isn't that beautiful? I'm going to set these here. Make sure we're not going to bend anything. Oh, yeah. There we go. Wow, we did it. Okay, there it is, it's out. Here's the hole where the air from the bellows comes out, I believe. And these are all the screws that I just took out in order to get that undone. The bellows have a little bit of leak, so I'm saving those for Ian to work on. Get a good look at all the workings of this and all the levers. And what I still have to do is I'll have to get all those reeds out inside there. Okay, we did it. So let's see how the levers work. We have this one, which is operated by the knee. Now you can see here, it's opening up the flap in the back. This is moving this one here. This one is opening the flap. No, this is opening something in the back. You can see right here. And okay, this is opening another flap in the back. This is connected to the Vox Humana, which we took out. Here's the other knee operating, opening that flap in the back. Flute Forte, you see it moving back here. And here's another one moving here. So all of these are working just fine. This one is right here, lifting this up. And here, lifting that one up higher. And here's the lever here. Okay, so all our stops are working very nicely. Okay, you want to pull these out with me? We're going to start down here. I've got this flap is up now. This would have been operated by the knee, but I don't have a knee available to hold that open. And then I've opened up the Celeste, and that gives me access in here to the reeds. Actually, that's only one section of the reeds is open. Okay. Okay, we've got the whole principal is out. I'm going to close the door there. And I'm going to attach these to the board. So there we go. We've got all the reeds out, I think. Okay, our last little tiny reed says E on it. Oh, but there's an F right there. Okay. Oh, there's one we left out. All by itself down here. Wow, okay. There's the last little reed. And it says F. Time for a story. All right, it's time for a story. And I thought this week, since we're having fun discovering the insides of a pump organ or a reed organ, I would look for a story that might be interesting related to the reed organ. So I came across the book called The History of the Organ in the United States by Orpha Ox. And I was looking through it in one of the chapters, on the chapter of the organs in Pennsylvania. Here's some pictures of beautiful pipe organs. And here's another one. So they did such beautiful work back then. There was a handful of organists in that area, and I found one that had a little interesting story connected with it, so I'll read that to you. John Adam Diefenbach was probably born in the New York settlement and made the trip to Pennsylvania with his parents as a young boy. Here he grew up, worked as a miller, and raised his family. One of his 7 children was John Jacob, who learned carpentry and cabinet making. He married Sabina Schmelzer, and the couple moved to a large farm near Bethel. Just what prompted John Jacob in his 30th year to become obsessed with the idea of building an organ is a mystery. Perhaps he had read about organs or had been told about them by older members of the settlement. The family historian Victor Diefenbach relates, there was at that time no organ in the entire settlement. Log buildings had been erected for holding religious services. The early pioneers were a pious folk. But when they sang hymns of their forefathers, they missed the music of the organ. Singing without instrumental accompaniment was similar to mortar minus hair. It did not hang together. Whatever John Jacob Diefenbach's previous musical experience might have been, the report that there was an imported pipe organ in Philadelphia seems to have stimulated him to action about 1774. The story of his visit to this organ is most colorfully told by Victor Diefenbach. So, one day, JJD told his family, I am going to Philly to see that organ. And when I come back, I am going to build one myself. So said, so done. One morning he filled his pockets with fried dried beef, bread wrapped in muslin, eatables that would keep for several days, his stout oaken cane, and set off for the city of brotherly love. Arriving at his destination, the church having the organ, the sexton showed him the organ. JJD now took from an inner pocket a small notebook, a foot rule, and a pencil. He measured the height of the organ and put it down in his book. So many feet, so many inches, from front to back, so many doors, pipes, etc., etc. All this he had down in black and white in his little notebook. The caretaker questioned him as to where he lived, how he came, what was his occupation. After telling the man he was a farmer and had walked, the caretaker then asked the young rustic, "Why do you measure the organ all over?" "I'm going to build one when I get home." "Well," the caretaker said, "I have some errands that need my attention. You just go ahead with your measuring. I'll be back later." He well knew that the dumb farmer would not take the organ on his back and run off with it. Then he went to several members of the church council and told them, "There's a lunatic in the church," and told what JJD had told him. The council rushed to the church, questioned this uncouth farmer in cowhide boots and barn fall trousers. They soon found out that he was far from a lunatic. Arriving home, JJD proceeded to make the case of the organ out of previously cut and well-dried native black walnut lumber. He made the plans or working drawings from his notes and built a case approximately 2/3 the size of the organ he had measured in Philadelphia. Once the shell was finished, he started on the pipes. Some of these were of wood and square in shape. These he easily made. Soldering the zinc pipes, there JJD was up against it. He couldn't solder. He didn't know how. Discouraged, he stored the entire project in the loft of the pigsty, a log building with a forebay like a barn. My great-grandfather showed me the place when I was a lad of 10 and told me that under the roof the organ had lain for a year. Along came a tramp, a German Rumpflinger, or traveling journeyman. He stayed there as long as it took to solder the pipes. JJD then constructed a niche in the wall of his dwelling, also lifted the ceiling to set up the organ in his house and play it. Okay, that was just a short story, and there's one more, even shorter, that I thought I would share with you. Okay, so the next one is about Joseph Downer. It says the first organ built in western Pennsylvania was the product of Joseph Downer. He was born in 1765, and he had decided to move to the west. He started for Ohio, but settled on a tributary in Pennsylvania. Here near Fayette City, he put up a grist mill and a sawmill, and later added machinery for spinning cotton and weaving. Soon after arriving in this location, Downer began building organs, and is said to have completed 3. One of them was eventually acquired by the Carnegie Museum. It is in a white case ornamented in relief with gilded display pipes. One can imagine the excitement that this organ caused in the Frontier Society. An amusing story about it is related by W.J. Holland. At the time the instrument was being built, the infant settlement was filled with wonder, and people came from far and near to observe, and when it was completed, to hear it played. The story is told that on one occasion a party came 20 miles for the purpose of hearing the organ, and on entering the house, one of the company, seeing an old-fashioned warming pan hanging on the wall, asked, "Is that the organ?" "Well," said Mr. Downer, I am somewhat bashful about playing an organ before people, but I will go into the next room and play it for you." Whereupon he took down the warming pan, and such delightful music came from the next room that the strangers were filled with amazement, but finally were disillusioned amid much laughter. Well, that's all until next time. The Hebrew Minute. Yadati Hashem ki lo la'adam darko. Lo la'ish holech v'hachin et za'ado. I know, O Lord, or I know Hashem, that the way of man is not in himself. It is not in man that walks to direct his own steps or his own course. If you know where this is found, please leave it in the comments below. Look at the beautiful red leaves starting to come out. It's a beautiful crisp day. Well, at this point, the creek is looking good. Nice and calm. And so far the bees are still here, and by midday they get to working furiously. Let's go in the shop and see what's going on. Here we are inside the shop. Over here are all the extra pieces that we've taken off of the reed organ. Here's the organ. Now all that's left in here are the bellows, which I'll save for when Ian comes. Over here we've got the workings. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for your grand comments in the comment section. Thank you for your thumbs up. Thank you to the new subscribers. And until next time, bye.